I'm in the movie business. I know. Chevy Chase. Today, I am delivering a film script for Mr. Tarpaulin. Not just handing over a script. It doesn't work like that anymore, my friend. He wants me to hand deliver the script myself. And this is the interesting thing, because you don't just deliver a script nowadays. You have to get people's attention. You've got to have a gimmick, something different. So what he's done is he thought it through. It's a European film. It's set in Naples, right? It's funded by the EU. Where are they based? In Brussels. So he's delivering the script in a box of sprouts. I play this for Mr. Tarpaulin in the morning to get him in the mood before he goes into meetings. All queued up. The first time I've ever met a man like the maestro. Never really spoken to one. I mean, he's not royalty, but he's American and he's very rich, and it's just different. I think he's used to beautiful things. Get the feeling that everything he's ever known has been beautiful. I can imagine him in a lacy cot with an Audrey Hepburn type nurse looking in at him. Then he went off to university in America. Then he came over here with a sports scholarship for Cambridge. But in spite of that, there's no standing on ceremony. He said to me, he said, my friend, because I said to him, I asked him, I said, you know, what should I call you? And he said, well, we'll not stand on ceremony, my friend. He said, call me maestro. He doesn't wear his wealth on his sleeve. Although he does have a very, very eye-catching gold bracelet, which is just for luck. A lot of pride in his appearance. He likes that look. The sort of check shirts, lemon sweaters, the English gent. And he looks good. He does look good. He's quite an imposing figure. Well, he said to me, do you think I look like Sean Connery? I said, yes, I do. I mean, they're both open to the elements on the top. Right, he's in there now to do battle. Actually, it's either this or the Eye of the Tiger. So it's like a boxing match in here sometimes. He sweats. He gets very worked up about his meetings, you know. But he's a teacher, because I have learned so much. It's a different type of business, because in what he does, it's not who you are, but how you appear. Appearance is everything. And we do all sorts of things. I'm going to do a thing now. In half an hour, I'm going to phone him on his mobile, right? And I'm going to be an American producer pretending that I want to buy the script. And that means then the people that he's seeing will think, hang on a minute, and they'll pay more. Stuart Little 2, 264,000 3-day gross. That's in pounds, mind. 392 different sites. Down 18 in the 3-day percentage change. That's very good business. That's very good business. Hello. Right. Yeah, meeting's over. He was totally silent. Totally silent. Flagged me down at the side of the road, got in the car, and not a word from him all the way back to the house. Nothing. And yet, and here's the thing, here's the genius of the man. What is he? He's a communicator. And he was still able to communicate. We were passing a garage, and through gesture alone, I knew that he wanted a Diet Coke and a chunky Kit Kat. Keith, here to deceive the maestro. Kate's have a life of their own. Fisher is back to his old ways. he seems to naturally balk at authority. Just, it's in him. I mean, he doesn't do it with me because I'm not a figure of authority. You know, not in this car. He is in this car, and he can't turn against himself. I mean, I've been blessed with my 2 smashers. You won't find 2 more easygoing little smashers, but Fisher, and I'm not criticising, I don't mean that in a nasty way, Fisher will probably grow up to conduct an orchestra. He's that sort of boy. But he idolises his father. He idolises his father. And I think that Peter senses that his little boy can only be disappointed in him because his expectations are so high that what Peter does is he pulls back. And I respect that in him. I think I could learn a lot about fathering from Peter. It's that old thing, absence makes the heart grow fonder. That's what I'm hoping with my boys. Is that absence makes the heart grow fonder, and that if I had been around, familiarity could have bred contempt. My fear is that absence can breed contempt. Who knows? It's in the lap of the gods, and I always learned as a child, never look in someone else's lap. Here we are, Harley Street, picking up Peter. He sees a psychotherapist here, but it's not, you know, it's all unprofessional because this is the chap who sees all the stars. So he's hoping for an introduction. I mean, there's nothing wrong with his head. That's my department. Not really. I would never say that. A full recovery. You never know what they're going to uncover. Really. They're like archaeologists, digging around in your mind. Or dogs digging in a garden. And they know where the bone is. They know where your bone is, which is more impressive. They haven't left that bone there. I think they work on the principle that people tend to leave the same bone in the same spot of the garden most of the time. That's what I learnt, was that most people's issues are the same. They're all the same. And they're like dogs, and they'll go and sniff around a corner of your garden, and they'll start to scamper like that, and you'll think, why are they looking there? And then they'll come up with a bone in their mouth, which will be something from your past, and they'll show you the bone, and you'll say, God, yeah, I'd forgotten about that. And they'll say, well, it's because of this bone that you buried here that you've been feeling under the weather. And that's it. Bingo. I said to mine, I said, don't go digging around in my childhood, I said. All you'll find is laughter and balloons. I couldn't have been more wrong. That's a drama school, would you believe? Very modern. And the maestro is in there as we speak, because they're doing a show, an end-of-term show. A lot of these cars, actually, are from producers and directors looking for the stars of tomorrow. And Peter will wander around, giving out his card to who he thinks is talented. Could be an actor, could be an actress. Most likely an actress. Because, as he said, this is fascinating, he said, with an actor, my friend, a male actor, you will find competition. He said, they will look at me, he said, and they will want to compete with me. They want to be the alpha male. But with an actress, that's not there. An actress knows I'm looking at her for one thing alone. Because he's got an idea for which is this'll blow you away. For a teen movie. Now they're quite popular, teen movies. Jerkfest 2 is the name of it. And there hasn't been a Jerkfest 1, which I thought, well, you've slipped up here, but he explained it. This is lovely. He said, if you put a 2 after it, it sounds like a sequel. And it gives people more faith in the film, because they think, well, Jerkfest 1 was good enough, or Jerkfest they'd have called it, wouldn't they? good enough for a sequel. They'll think, let's meet those characters again, because they'll think those characters are familiar to them, even though they're not. This is the other side of the acting business, of course, because look at this. This is not very glamorous, is it? This is the reality of it. Fame costs, and this is where you start paying. Literally here, because the car park is pay and display. Film folk are a breed apart. They have to be. Determined, dogged. Peter's in there now with the therapist. No introduction as yet to the talent, as he calls them, the big name actors. I think he's hoping to get someone like Anthony Hopkins or someone like that. But he won't give up. This is his second session this week, number 6 in all, and it takes it out of him. He comes out, his eyes are red, he looks smaller. Oh, I say to him, Peter, you know, why do it? And he doesn't answer. He sits there very quietly, looking out the window, almost as if he's looking for an actor out there. It's funny when they have their sessions, because when he comes out, I can always tell what they've been talking about. Today must be happiness, because he said to me, one of the first things, have you ever been truly happy? And I quite like talking about happiness, so I said 3 times. And I was about to tell him the 3 times, and then he said, I have been happy once in my life. And that was when he was in San Francisco, before he got married. He went to San Francisco in a rock band as lead guitarist. But that didn't work out. The other members of the band went, and he stayed in San Francisco, he said. And he hung around a lot of clubs and got a job as a bouncer, would you believe? And was very popular because, of course, he could let the girls in or out to meet the band. And he loved that. He sounded more like a roadie, really. But he was very happy with that. And I thought, I can't really compete with that, with the rock and roll lifestyle, except to say that Marion and I actually once went to see Billy Joel at the NEC in Birmingham. Jeff got the tickets for us. Actually quite unnerving. We were only 6 rows from the front, and at that distance he looks like Dylan Thomas. Catherine's been doing a lot of reading, apparently. That's the reading room, just there. Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your golden hair. Not really, her hair is black. It's jet black. Peter's made a breakthrough. Her name is Jocasta. That's where she lives. And they've just gone in there now, happy as Larry. And Peter will now begin the process. It's remarkable. It's like Star is Born. I feel like I'm sort of watching on the sidelines. He gets to know about her. He says it's important to go to their homes, see what they like, what they don't like, what they want to do, what they don't want to do. Have a good route about. You hear actors, when they're interviewed, saying how hard it is. Well, I've never believed them, but 2 hours now, and I know what he's like. He's relentless. I mean, you work quite long hours in the film business. That's a given, As the maestro says, you're chasing the light. It puts certain stresses and strains on your life, and if you are a married person, like Peter, it'll put strains on that marriage. He's putting work first at the moment in there, but when I get him back, he will have put Jocasta behind him, and then he'll be onto Catherine, and he's able to focus and he's able to compartmentalise in the way that David Frost did in the 1970s when he was going back and forth to New York all the time. There was no DVT in those days. There was no, no special socks, nothing. I mean, he could have a time bomb in his legs, David Frost. We don't know. The only way we'll know, God forbid something does go wrong. God forbid there is a clot lurking, and we should find out. I would hate that, because I like breakfast with Frost on a Sunday. I don't know the first thing about politics, but I don't think it matters on that show. That's where Jocasta is right now, having it all done, pedicure, manicure, having her hair done. They're going to wrap it in seaweed apparently. Peter's in there with her, keeping an eye on quality control. I had tea here yesterday with Catherine, who was a little bit low, if you know what I mean, a bit under the weather. And I said, look, the only way of lifting yourself out of the low is to go right back to where it started, and we tried to do that. We tried to get her to go right back, find the source of it, but she couldn't get back any further than when she got married. Just had another shopping trip with Catherine, but it's not been a success, in all honesty. We've tried them on at home, and they're too young, they're for a younger woman, and they just don't look right, I would have told her. So they're all coming back. Peter is buying Jocasta a whole new wardrobe. Just sent me off now to pick up some finishing touches. Mr. Tripolin is in there now with his protege. I asked him about Catherine, how they met, where and when, because I don't see how they go together. Very different. Catherine is a very sensitive person. She's a lovely, sensitive soul. Mr. Tripolin is a... I don't want to point the finger, because I'm not a pointer. I don't do that. You can never know the secrets of another man's marriage. I've always said that. I've always said it. I didn't know the secrets of my own. Mr. Tripolin just asked me what I thought of Jocasta. I said, yeah, wonderful. I said to him, you must be very proud. I said, she's the daughter you never had. Well, I'm supposed to be running Jocasta home. And on the way she said, oh, we'll just stop here for a sec. Fine. She popped up there. She was gone for half an hour. Eventually came back with a big, lanky, muscly lad. They get in the back and they start playing on the Xbox. Not a word to me. Well, that's not true. Afternoon Barrett, she said. Very snide, I said nothing back, nothing. Then they get out of the car, they troop back in, and I've not seen them, which is telling a lie. I see them occasionally, because there's two of them come and stand and look out the window at me. I phoned Mr. Tripolin, and I told him what was happening, and he said, whatever the lady wants, was his words. I felt like saying, she's not a lady. There is a little lady closer to home that you should be thinking of, meaning Catherine. But I didn't, I kept stum. Well, it's all coming on to plan. Mr. Tripolin has arranged an interview for Lady Jocasta with a film executive. So it's all very nice. It's still in there now. Going over lines. He said it's going to be like the moment that Debbie Reynolds was discovered in a milk bar. Mr. Trippolin sent me to get this. Cheers. Oh, here they come. That didn't go according to plan. He came out all red in the face. She was furious walking on ahead of him. Actually, I did feel quite sorry for him. They'd been kept waiting for over an hour in a corridor. When they did get seen, it was by a chap who was about 19 or 20 years old. Mr. Trippolin was livid. He said when I was his age, I was selling vacuum cleaners on the streets of New York. I thought to myself, well, was that before or after you were at Cambridge, sir? She was livid though, she was furious. She was walking around the frontier shouting and screaming, calling him a fake, you know? And I did feel sorry for him. He got down on one knee, he was going, you know, what will it take? I'll do anything. And he went to give her the champagne. She took the champagne, swung it past him, just caught him on the side, hit the side of the car, exploded. It went all over the windscreen, all over the side here. And as it does, he went down and he came back up and it had buckled his gold rimmed glasses. I've no idea what he can be talking about all this time. That's a shock. We left the therapists, and he was very quiet, which I noticed. And then completely out of nowhere, he said to me, "Do you think I am a fake? Do you think I'm a fake?" And I wasn't quite sure where he was going. I said, well, I don't know. I said, it's hard to say. I said, I tell you, it was a fake. And I named the couple of the gay guys in Siegfried and Roy. I said when they make a lion disappear, they haven't made him disappear. It's sleight of hand. I said that's a fake. I said, but this is not a fake. I mean, look at all this. You couldn't make that disappear. I said, you know, the house and everything. And that's when he dropped the bombshell. It's not his. It's Catherine's. All of it. But he is a film producer. I mean, he has made a film. That's the thing. A biblical epic. You know, he saw that they don't make those anymore, and he'd thought he'd spotted like a mirage in the desert, a gap in the market. As he said, it was, you know, what he'd spotted was a black hole. It's the story of Ezekiel, the prophet from the Old Testament, and it stars the is his name the man out of LA Law, and terribly sad this, because there's a lovely role, a featured role of an elder of the temple, and they were plumping on Richard Harris for it, and it was all agreed bar the contracts, but they'd made the fatal error. They'd scheduled it during the rugby season, and Richard, of course, a big fan of Ireland, so he pulled out at the last minute. Ever the gentleman, he sent a bottle along, but as Peter said, you can't put a bottle on the screen, so they had to rally the troops, and luckily they were able to secure someone else who well, needs no introduction to you if you're familiar with Turkish television, because he presented their lottery show every Thursday. And the good news for me is that I'm going to see it. I'm going to see it tonight. We're having a premiere. I've never been to a film premiere before. That was my first, certainly in a car. And it was fantastic. I mean, all credit to it. 2 thumbs up. It was an imagination roller coaster. Your imagination was working overtime. And it had to, because a lot of the effects weren't there. I'm absolutely not blown away. I'm knocked out by it. Very moving, very involving, very emotional. Less so the last 20 minutes because there was no sound. Catherine had stopped the funding by then. But still, a very emotional experience for Peter because it's his premiere. So we just sat here in silence with him mouthing the words. And then in the end, he just burst into tears. Right there. Sobbing, really, you know. And snivelling. And he was actually quite a pathetic figure, you would say. And he turned to me and he said, "What should I do?" And I said, "Right." I said, "You get out of this car, you walk across that lawn, you got those steps, go through that door, you find that woman, you look her in the eye, and you tell her you love her." And that's what he's doing now. So, Shane, I'm Alan Ladd, and I'm up on a pedestal. Well, I have to be because I'm only 5'7", like him. Where are you going, Ezekiel? I am leaving. I cannot be with you. Why not? What are you doing? Stop that. Not here, he'll see us. Let him see. I don't care. What's that? What's that? You know what it is. Feel my love for you. Feel the power of my love. This is my commandment to you.